All right, welcome to the next step. So before we import our videos, like shown in the last video, we have to understand what a catalog is. So let's go to Lightroom first of all and see what a catalog is. And before that, what do you think just the term itself, like forget about Lightroom, but just the term catalog, what does it usually mean? So when you say, if you go, for example, to a shop and let's say you want your house to be painted, don't you sometimes ask them that, can you show us your catalog of colors? Then another example can be, for example, on my website, creativepadmedia.com, where it's all about creating online courses like the one that you're doing. We have a catalog of online courses, and each within the catalog, it's like we have photography courses, video making courses, editing courses, and all these things. So basically, anytime you say catalog, you're talking about a collection of something. So even in Lightroom, it just represents a collection of all the images that you import into Lightroom. So let's see how this looks. All right, so we are back to Lightroom, and under the library module here, which is open by default, you're going to see on the left this catalog option, and here you can see something that says all photographs, 23,000 something. So these are all the photographs that at some point I must have imported into Lightroom. And anytime you import it, it's going to go inside a catalog. You can create new catalogs also, but we're going to talk about that later. But the point is, your catalog will show the collection of all the images that have been imported into Lightroom. Now, what exactly are these images? Remember, we saw this before on my hard drive. So this was my hard drive, external hard drive, where I store my photos by Kush, that all the categories. So at some point, I must have imported all these photos into Lightroom, and I'm only using just one catalog. So within that just one catalog, it's showing me this collection of the entire photos. Okay. The next point is that, when we import photos into Lightroom, one of the misconceptions that beginners have is that they feel like these photos have come inside Lightroom. That means they kind of think of it like this, that another backup has been formed where all these photos are now stored because they've gone inside the Lightroom software. That doesn't happen. Okay, so that's a myth. Because what happens is, the moment you import the photographs, the catalog, yes, it might show the number of the photographs, but it doesn't mean these photographs are inside Lightroom. It just means that the catalog now has synced Lightroom to the actual storage location. So what you're seeing here are just the thumbnails that this catalog has generated. So think of it like this, that the catalog is like in the middle. It's just syncing both the parties, in this case, the external drive and Lightroom. Okay. If, for instance, I was to delete a particular photo on my external hard drive, what you'll actually see is that the photo here, if we go to that particular photo or the thumbnail of that particular photo, it'll show like a missing icon. So that means that photo is actually not inside Lightroom. We've just lost the bridge or the sync between Lightroom and that actual photo. So Lightroom doesn't store your photographs. After importing, it's just seeing the thumbnails with the sync. That's why this button is very misleading. This import button is kind of misleading for beginners because, in my opinion, they should actually be called sync. That means sync the images to where they are actually stored. Okay, and we'll see all this later on also, that if I delete some image, if I move around some image in its actual location, how does it reflect here? We're going to come to that. Right now, what I do want to show you is, how does actually a catalog look like? So it's actually a file that gets stored on your computer. And how can you see its location? If you go on to edit, and of course, for that, you'll first have to create the catalog. So if you're doing this for the first time, don't worry, we're going to start importing soon. Your catalog will also be formed at that time. But just showing you right now, that if I was to go to edit, inside that, if I was to go to catalog settings, you can see here that the location is this. So let's go on my computer to this folder, and let's see how that catalog file actually looks like. Right, so I've just navigated to that particular folder, and here you can actually see all the stuff that the catalog does for you. Like, it creates all these different files. The main catalog files are these ones. Can you see Lightroom catalog, and then you see version. So don't worry about the V12, V13. It's just that, when the versions are updated, So the catalog also keeps on getting updated. We'll also later on talk about backing up your catalog. Okay, that's something important. But if you actually just see, so let's see this one, okay? Because let's say this is the latest one, okay? But they all are the same, these C80 ones. If I right click on it, if I go to properties, okay, first thing is that if I go to details, you can see the extension here, LRC80, Lightroom Catalog. So that's the extension of this particular file. But also just see the size is just 204 MB. So do you think those 23,000 and odd photos, do you think that is going to be 204 MB? No, right? So this should tell you that, yeah, it's just something that syncs. It's not the actual photos stored here. And let's now quickly also see that, you'll actually see that number in the catalog increasing whenever you import a particular photo. So this will also be kind of like a good revision to what you've done before. So let's say if I go back to my SD card and I've just added one additional photo. I'm just showing you, you don't have to do anything here. So let's say this is a portrait. So oops, not cut. I'm just going to paste this back. Rather, I'm just going to copy this. So now if I go back to my external hard drive, remember that's the process we've followed till now. This is the first method of doing things. We're going to go to portraits on my external hard drive, and I've actually not had any shoot in 2024. It's been a pretty dry month, so let's just create this one. I don't mind, okay? I'll just call this shoot one because obviously this is not a real shoot. I'm just showing you this. So just going to paste it here. And now, this time, to import this particular thing, remember all this is already imported into Lightroom, but this folder is not. So I have to navigate to this folder now, and then I have to just do something similar. I can just drag this folder over here. And I don't have to worry about the structure and everything because Lightroom is mimicking the structure already since my photos are imported. So this is automatically going to come nicely under this structure, like you can see here. Okay, so you don't have to worry. You just drag the new folder that you've created and it's just going to sync everything nicely. So this is already checked. And this time, just see if I hit import, well, this is just going to increase. Can you see now it became 23884. So now this has come and it's become a part of my catalog. Right, so I hope that you're beginning to understand what a catalog is. And I'm a big believer of visual learning. Remember things, by kind of giving some sort of an image which demonstrates the principle. So I've just created this particular image, okay? And I did this, by the way, using the DALL-E image generator, the AI generator, which is offered by OpenAI, the same people who give ChatGPT. So it can really produce some amazing images if you give it the right prompt. So I've just created this image, and this represents a catalog perfectly. This is a great way to remember it, that the catalog is this robot, okay, which just syncs Lightroom with your actual photos where they are stored actually. Okay, so this can be a good way to remember that. Also, not just syncs the location, it also syncs any edit that you have done. It actually remembers that. So the next time, let's say if you were to plug in your hard drive again, it'll even keep a record of all the editing that you had done to a certain image, and those edits will also reflect thanks to this catalog robot. So anything that you do to the image, it syncs, and it maintains that sync as long as it doesn't lose that connection with the actual location of the image. Now let's also see what happens if you do move around a file in the actual location. All right, so we just imported this image, so it's showing in the catalog section. It's going to show under previous import. So you can see it's showing here. Now let's go back to the external hard drive where this is stored, and let's just move it around a bit and let's see what happens here. All right, so we are back to that portraits 2021 folder. And then what I'm going to do here is, let's say, I didn't like this name. And then I thought, what, I should just put it under a new folder, which is described properly. So name, month, I'm just giving an example here. And then I was to go to this folder. I said, what, let's cut this and let's put it inside this folder. Now, if I go back to Lightroom, just see what's going to happen. Can you see? The moment I did that, now on the thumbnail, we have this icon which says photo is missing. So remember, it's just we've broken that bridge. This again is a proof There's no photograph inside Lightroom. You just lost that sync. But the good part is that you can just, with a single or two clicks, you can gain back that connection. So in order to gain back that connection, you just have to hit this icon which says photo is missing. Okay. And you can just, the moment you click on it, you're going to get this dialog box which says locate. So it's asking us, okay, locate the new folder. So I'm just going to hit locate. And then I'm going to go exactly to that folder on my external hard drive where we put this image. So there we go, under the 2024 folder. And remember, this was the new folder. We select this and we just select the file. And then we just select. And boom. Now you can see that it has regained that connection. So this is how a catalog works. Now, we're still not done with catalogs, because in the next video, we're going to quickly understand how many catalogs should you have. Should you create a new catalog every time you import, or how does this whole thing work? We're going to see that in the next video.